What is good, everybody, man? Thank you guys jumping into another episode of Expert Mentors Live. I've got Mr. Nick Krem back in the house. What's up, brother?
Man, excited to be on here, John. Always a good time with you.
Always a good time, man. You know, episode 5, brother. Having you back in for the fifth go round. Episodes, earlier. Really kind of covering. Kind of where the trends are, where your focus has been, anywhere from covering content, virtual events, branding, attracting agents, utilizing everything. And, I know you've been, kind of really super busy this year, really navigating around, the whole, AI craze, if you will. Definitely very, very sexy, if in terms of, helping us lead into, the seductiveness of being more efficient, being more effective, replacing things, but there's still the actual application of it and being able to really, utilize it. And so good to have you back on, brother.
Man, thanks for having me back on. And I think you made a really good point with that too. It's like, is AI sexy? Yeah. And I think sometimes it's sexy for the wrong reasons, right? Like you don't want to go chasing after it for the wrong reasons where, I see a lot of these different things out there that'll be like, we'll call all your leads for you with an AI voice. And trust me, nothing bad can happen with that. I'm like, there's a lot of bad that can happen with things like that, right? Like, let's not have another NAR. Let's not have another lawsuit on our hands, like doing some of these different strategies, like that's where it's like AI shouldn't replace the human. Like, I don't believe AI should replace the human connection. Because like, if you look at the grand scale of things, there's team human versus team replace human. There's a lot of people in the AI space that are quite literally trying to replace the humans and how they work and how they operate with AI and robotics. And then there's another team, which is team human, which believes AI is actually here to enhance our ability to do more work, get more done in less time, and to actually become more human and spend less time behind a computer and more time communicating with clients. So I think you nailed it when you said efficiencies is where you really should be looking at where AI can help you out.
Yeah. And I think too, Nick, you said something there around, really helping offset, or I don't know about replace or complement a lot of people's frustrations and things that they really just don't like to do. Right. Like, you said it around, the whole conversational piece. I know, tools like YLopo incorporate kind of the feel of the conversation. I know, a couple, AI people making promises. It's really, really hard, but, you're cutting your teeth into the real estate space, really out making phone calls and reaching out to the end consumer. And so, the telephone game and, the telephone game at a high level. And so where do you see, that kind of component with AI really stepping into, like you said, human factor or not, but like, where do you see that kind of intertwining into what depths and really what trust, right? The in-person on the end of the phone is like, am I talking to a real human or am I talking to some, something that's not human? Like, what is going on here?
It's tough because like, especially the outbound, and this is where it gets like here's what I like. I think like big picture, depth of vision with how this works. Imagine if every company in the world was allowed to do outbound AI calling. Your phone would not stop ringing, right? Like, because every company that you've ever given your phone number to would just be calling you 24/7 and your phone would not stop ringing. Beyond all that too, look, I get it. AI is pretty damn smart. It works 125,000 times faster than the human brain above all else. But are you going to put your license and all these fees on the line just because you can't pick up the damn phone? Like, that's my viewpoint on it. And some people are like, well, I only use it for inbound calls. And I'm like, wait, so you have people calling you to work with you and that's not worth your time or hiring someone to take that time? So I'm pretty against AI calling. I will say that. I'm pretty against it. Legality purposes, because I think there's going to be some big lawsuits and things that come with that. But on top of that too is, especially if you have inbound leads that are asking and requiring your services, pick up the phone, be a human. Don't use AI to replace the human connection. That's what makes good agents. That's what makes rapport. So for me, it's, yeah, are there ways that you can utilize it? Yes. Over the phone, I do not believe is one of them.
Do you see really where, and just because I know this is a weakness for a lot of real estate agents, especially, um, you know, more on the hunter versus the gatherer, the nurture, the farmer, hey, I got to go kill, I got to go hunt, I got to go get that commission check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a lot of opportunities in my pipeline, but man, they're just not ready to do something right now. So I just need to focus on the right now. Do you see where AI would be a tremendous solution? I mean, I know there's a lot of it there, but to what level could we take it even further to help nurture and not let things fall through the cracks? Because I mean, that long-term nurture pipeline, I mean, there's so much money that falls through the cracks. I mean, the lesson that we learned, back in the brokerage in Texas, I think it was about $1.7 million to the company in a 12-month span that we lost out on because we didn't have great follow-up in place. And, I'm with you, everything needs to lead to a conversation, but do you think the AI really can get to a level to really help you identify who's the best, who's the hottest, and really where you need to pay attention to, but also help nurture and bubble along to that point?
Yeah, I think it absolutely can. There's a lot of different things even going into, identifying what are the buyer behaviors. And there's great places. I know Fellow is one of them that does a great job at really identifying the seller leads, where they're at in the process, using the AI in the back end to really help identify the leads, where they're at in the process more. And I think this is where I think AI, people almost have this grand vision for what they think it can do. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, there are so many amazing things about AI. Well, I was planning on coming to this later, but like, AI can literally think now. This is freaking amazing. Like, it's gone on to level 2 generative AI because of Project Strawberry and what they just dropped with ChatGPT, where AI literally thinks in probabilities now. That's freaking exciting because that's very close to how us as humans think, right? Based on our past experiences, based on our personality type and the situation, we think in probabilities and then we answer questions. That's how AI is thinking. And as amazing as that is, I still believe that people want AI to do their job for them, but then not have it replace them. I'm like, oh, you can't do that. So can it help you identify who are hotter leads? Yes. Can it help you create campaigns, follow-up campaigns, and do things along those lines? Abso-freaking-lutely. But it's not going to pick, like, I know that's not the question you're asking, but I feel like this is where a lot of people are going, where how can I have AI just have the hottest leads call me and nobody else? Doesn't really work like that. You still got to put in the work. If you want to work more efficiently, it'll save you a lot of time. I think that's where people should really look for AI, is how can I take what I'm already doing and input AI into these places to save a lot of time, become more human, is the way I like to say it.
No, I agree wholeheartedly there. It's just, people are inherently just lazy. And so, how are they going to try to cut corners and be lazy with this, that, knowing that if I am a little more aggressive, if I am a little more out of my toes, if I am putting in a little bit more work, I agree with you. How can it help me accelerate? How can it help me go faster instead of, sitting back and trying not to do anything and have it all automated? I don't think we're there, and I don't know when and if we will get there to that point.
And this is where I was talking to my uncle. He's huge into robotics. He's big into AI and a lot of things that are going on. And it was just very similar to what the internet, when it first came out, was. They're like, oh, flying cars are 3 years away now. Like, done. Like, if I can email someone from across the world, we're going to be flying in cars in a couple years. And if you even look at like what's happening, like We Robot, I'm sure you saw Elon Musk do his We Robot with the walking robots. Those were controlled by humans. So it's not like those were actual AI robots that were walking around. Those were controlled by humans. China even did a publicity stunt where they had robots that were walking around, and they were literally humans dressed in freaking things to walk around. And it's more so they're trying to get people used to what it looks like. Two, it's also, they're trying to fund all their ventures and everything that they're doing. And I just believe, like, we're not anywhere near that point yet. I know it might be 5-7 years till we get to that point, but at the same time, it's like, let's take a step back and just understand how great is it that I can go to ChatGPT and ask it almost any question that I have, and it gives me an answer in seconds.
Yeah.
Great thing. This is a tip for agents that are out there. Ask it questions about your CRM. How do I set up this campaign? Where do I find this? Where do I find that? And ChatGPT will literally give you the answer of exactly how to find it in your CRM, how to operate your CRM better. Get your questions answered in seconds.
It's incredible, right? When you really think about that. So, for real estate agents, really for a lot of them in some of the toughest circumstances and environment that they've ever encountered to be a part of, there's a lot of similarities for those that have been in the game, coming up on 2 decades plus.
Yeah.
Things that we're seeing, kind of how things are starting to stall out, how, things are just extending a little bit longer. How are you, really like, hey, listen, this is how you need to really utilize and leverage this to increase the skills that are required in today's market moving into the future. So like, I know we're kind of teasing the top 3 secrets here, and maybe obviously we know there can be a ton more.
Yeah.
What are you like, hey, these are the skills required to navigate the terrain and the market and the landscape moving into the future. This is how you need to leverage AI to help you develop that.
Yeah. So what I would say is this, like the glaring reality that nobody's really telling you right now is you have no future in real estate without learning AI. Like there's no future in the world in which you don't have to learn how to communicate with AI. Like the kids being born today won't know what a search engine is.
Right.
Like how crazy is that? They won't know what Googling something means.
Right.
Right. Like this is where the world is heading. And if you want to skate to where the puck is moving, and I know that's what everybody wants to do, but it's just the reality that you're going to have to learn how to communicate with it. And I think what people have to understand is that prompting and how you communicate it is, I guess this could be the first tip, but just going into it is, it's a language in itself. The language of the future is how you communicate and prompt artificial intelligence. Whether it's, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but they have like literally AI robo stations inside of some malls out in California right now, where you can go into there and tell them what you're feeling, what you're doing, and it will be able to prompt to give you responses back. So like wow. AI is getting incorporated into so much of our everyday life. I just showed somebody the other day how to use the advanced voice, which would be one thing that we cover today. And they're all of a sudden, instead of hiring tutors for their kid, they're using AI to become their kid's tutor. So
it's wild. So look at that. And it's basically comes down to communication, right? Yeah. That's just everything. And so it's learning the language of how to communicate. And that's really what you're saying by, hey, you got to understand the prompts, which is just learning how to communicate with this tool that is essentially becoming a guide, a mentor, an assistant that you're carrying around with you in your pocket.
Yeah. And, I would say the biggest mindset shift, if you haven't had this yet, this would be for me, write her down or a takeaway. Start looking at ChatGPT as your lifelong employee, and then everything will start changing for you. It's not just a tool. You might say artificial intelligence. It is intelligence, family. It is intelligence. It thinks, it responds, it reads, it learns. You can train it. It's literally the employee you've been dreaming of. You just didn't know what it would look like.
Right. So how do you start to communicate and really mold to really take advantage of the operating system that's already included, right? So like when we're talking about making hires, we want to hire batteries included, right? We want to hire, they already have an operating system installed. We're not trying to install an operating system of how to do graphic design or how to do, funnel building or how to do social media management or how to the skill of being able to have a conversation with somebody or transaction management or anything like that. You look through all the different functions throughout the real estate business. And, how do you make sure that you're able to tap into the operating system that this lifelong employee brings to your, to your life and to your business?
Yeah. No, that's a great question, because it comes down to, let's take it from the example of it's an employee, right? So what would you do with the first thing that you hire an employee? You would tell it, who you like. It needs to know who you are in your business, where you're located, how long you've been in the business, what are your accolades, what are your goals as a company.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with Chat GPT. There's something called custom instructions on your Chat GPT. So if you like click in the top right, then you go to customize Chat GPT, and there's something called custom instructions. That's where it's basically the main knowledge base and what it knows about you can be done right there. So you can tell it who you are, what business you're in, how long you've been in the business, what are your goals, and then they ask you, what do you want Chat GPT to know about you to provide a better response? So you include that there. And also, again, thinking about Chat GPT as your employee, there's something called the memory feature with Chat GPT. So it's essentially the brain in which it computes and answers information and gets to learn about you. So you can literally just start updating the memory with more and more information. Who are you looking to market to? Who is your ideal client? What is information about you that they need to learn? So this is where you start literally building the brain of your Chat GPT. So to me, it's just, again, you start thinking about this as an employee. What do you want your employee to be more well-trained on? And that's the information you start feeding it, and have the memory just get updated more and more and more as you go.
Yeah. No, I think it's absolutely critical, right? So you think through the onboarding process that you have for any team member.
Yeah.
And that's just a great way to think about it, where you start. I think that'll help a lot of people if they think in terms like this person's going to be rolling around with you for, from now on. What do they need to know to get them on board it and as effectively and efficiently as possible?
And, and just really having depth of vision too. I mean, you see the new iPhone, Apple Intelligence built into it. Guess what it's run off of? ChatGPT. I'm in a group. There's 150 CEOs in the world allowed in this group. It's pretty exciting. They talk about longevity, which is like extending human life, robotics, and artificial intelligence. One of the women in our group, she's the CEO of one of these companies, and they literally had an android host a dinner party for her and her friends. It's not quite at the stage where you can go to the public yet, but guess what that robot was run based off of? ChatGPT. So like when we're saying that this is your lifelong employee, it's not just going to be like on your computer. It's going to be built into a lot of appliances and a lot of things inside of your life. So the more well-trained mine is, it can start just being plugged into more and more and more as we continue to grow with this thing.
No, I love that. I love that. So definitely tip number one, I think it's a mindset approach, but then go in and onboard this thing, right? Go in and onboard this team member.
No, absolutely. Go in and onboard it and treat it like an employee. Feed it information about you, about what you do, what makes you different, what is your value propositions. Because then what I'm about to show you next is it just makes it a lot better for you.
Yeah. Well, then I think that's kind of the next progression, right? You get them onboarded. They know the history. They know kind of that founder story. They kind of know the value story of what it is that you do. Yeah. They know the inspiration of why we have internal team members in the first place. I think just being able to download that. I know for me, I went through and just took our VTO, right? Which was, our strategic plan. The VTO, the Vision Traction Organizer that we utilize, that's the strategic plan we use. I just copied and pasted and put that in there. I put in there, my personal core values. I put in there, the mission that I'm on. And I just took Patrick Bet-David's Choose Your Enemies Wisely, the mission formula of how he determines mission. I put that in there, answered the questions, and really talked about our ICP and the business model that we want to have. And it created everything, and everything was done. And then I asked, okay, what are the top 10 business metrics I need to be paying attention to in order for my business to be able to grow according to who we are and our values and our mission and our goals. And it just in real time. I mean, things that would take us, days to kind of flush out was done in, a matter of moments.
Yeah.
And I think that's really being able to see the power. And so that's great. But now it's then, okay, how do we execute on that? Right. Yeah. That's so being able to lay out, I think, the plan, being able to have the right communication, being able to think in terms of really getting things out of your head in the right way to be able to communicate. But to me, then it's all about the execution.
Yeah.
So, I I don't know if you want to touch on that. It's kind of kind of execute at that point, or I know you're really wanting to get into, kind of some of the new features and the things that really being able to improve the skill set.
No, you're absolutely right. It all comes down to execution too. And this is where, like with ChatGPT, and this is like when we started forming, like, who are we doing work for, right? Like, how are we creating our courses, our programs for? Look, family, ChatGPT helps winners win bigger. It does not help losers win. Right? Like you said, it all comes down to execution. Yeah, you can set up some pretty cool shit within ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You can create your execution plan. You can get all of these things done in seconds. But guess what? You still have to do.
You still got to do the work.
You still got to do the work. Still got to do the work. It's going to help you tremendously because a lot of the things that, it helps me get roadblock, like just mind blocks and things out of the way. Here is the next tip that I have for all agents. So the first one is like, start treating it like your employee. This is big to just start really getting your feet wet. I challenge agents for an entire week to not use a search engine. Instead, use ChatGPT for an entire week. Do not use the internet and like search engines, Google, Safari, any of those things. Of course, ChatGPT is a year old with their information. But besides getting market updates and stats, there really isn't much that you can't get from ChatGPT. I challenge you to start breaking habits of just going online and Googling and searching through articles and start using ChatGPT because you'll start to be amazed at how quick you can get information. The hardest thing that you're going to have to do is break the habits that you currently have to use this new technology. So my next tip for you is download the app to your phone and use that for an entire week. Refuse to go online for anything and start using this tool and just start getting acclimated to it.
Well, and I love that. And definitely that, like you said, you had mentioned kids aren't even going to know search engines anymore. I mean, they're going to go there. They're just going to go there. Yeah. So my question then, it was funny because I was talking through a client this morning. We're talking about, where, human behavior has always been, they go and they Google you and what pops up. Right. Yep. So I was thinking through that a little bit this morning. I was like, okay, well, where is that going? Because if people stop going to Google, how are you showing up? Where does your profile, what is your reviews? What are your case studies? What is your social proof? Where does that start to live? Or where must it start to live into the future?
Man, so that's a great question. And that's something that we're diving into more. And I'm really excited about some things that we'll be rolling out, but there's going to be SEO is going to be replaced by AI SEO, if AI, whatever, AI optimization, right? Like, how do you show up? And it's almost like the ironic thing because where does AI get all of its information and things from? It gets it from, the internet for the most part and like other places like that. So like your Google reviews are going to start meaning a lot more because where is it going to search to find the businesses and the agents, search through the reviews and then provide people a better response. They aren't going to be going to Google and searching through all the different links. They're going to go here and be like, hey, I'm a first-time home buyer looking to buy a home in Cleveland, Ohio. Like, can you give me a list of agents? And it'll be like, search, and it will give you a list of agents. So there's going to be a whole new gold rush in the whole SEO game with AI and how people search, what people ask for, and then how you show up. So that's exciting all in itself because it's gonna be like the wild, wild west for a little bit.
As putting your marketer hat on, where do agents need to be, really paying attention to make sure that doing a really good job? You start to say some SEO stuff. So it's like, okay, like where do they need to allocate a part of their focus, their energy, their budget to really, position themselves to show up as they want to continue to show up. Right. And so I know the other behavior is either there from search. Now it's going to move to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Or is it, still on social? Like where is the most important thing from a marketer being able to pay attention to on that customer journey with what matters? Well, like really what matters into the future?
Yeah, no, that's a great question because, I'm going to stay away from the most important, because I truly believe the most important one that you do is the one that you focus on, like, so there's not like one that I believe will stand out more than others. But here's an interesting case that, that we're looking at too is, dude, this blew my mind when I figured this out, that news outlets are posting like 60 to 100 blogs a day. A lot of these major news outlets are posting 60 to 100 blogs a freaking day. That blew my mind when I learned that, about how they're just constantly staying in front of people. So we started to take that same approach too and work with some of our agents, like, what if we just pump out 5 or 10 blog posts a day and just nail this topic over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? I know some people are like, we could tell if it's AI written and all these things. I'm like, well, not if you do it right. And if you just keep posting more and more and more and more, especially on the blog scene. So, because also the way that things work with ChatGPT, amongst all else, is they're searching the internet, they're searching to find copy, they're searching to find information. And what if yours is just 100, 200, 300 on that topic? You're going to start popping up more and more and more and more. Mm-hmm. So the one thing that we're really focusing on right now is just dominating that sphere of just sheer quantity. Because then you can go into different places. Like, there are a bunch of custom GPTs that are out there that are for SEO. Just run your article through it, get all the SEO long tail keywords and things that you need, and you're just pumping out content and have that process.
No, that I wrote that down because that's where, as you were saying that, I was like, yeah, right. And you look at all the other tools to help with optimization, but if you're pumping more and more content out there that is in alignment to your, your offer, kind of those Goldilocks type of opportunities.
Yep.
That's where, you've got to be creating that content that leads to that, right? So, like, I know real estate agents struggle with consistency. They end up on the real estate roller coaster. They just, the ebbs and flows, right? And so it really is not, one, not knowing their numbers, but two, they don't know how to maintain actual productivity and get things in the calendar. So you should be able to speak and pump tons of content related to let's go back to, it's Frank Kern, right? What's their big ass problem? Yeah. And you look at, buyers and sellers in today's market, what's their big ass problem? And then that's what you should be creating blog posts and content around, because that's what people are searching for. And the more that you can think like a marketer, the more that you can think through, how human behavior and the trends and things are going. I think that's the competitive advantage to get you out there, but it's moving like this, Nick.
Bro, John. And what I will tell you is, like, what I see that, why does this keep popping up? I don't know. All right, we're good. Like, what we're like, something that we've been working on, we haven't launched this yet, but like, what I think a big place that people, I don't know if they're just not seeing it or just not implementing, is the fact that you can train AI now and bring in a human that does not know anything about real estate, barely knows anything about marketing, but can then just run things through the AI and run your entire departments for you, your marketing, your lead gen, even conversations. They could be a VA and they just have a custom GPT built with all the objections and everything that they have, be texting and responding to leads, going through it. Yeah, you can say that AI can just automate part of this. But for us, it's like, what about answer the public, John? Answer the public. You can go there around your certain topic and just get boatloads of headlines and titles of information that people are searching, bring it over to these different sources that are custom GPTs and have it build out blog posts, build out emails, and then bring it over to another custom GPT and then go through the SEO, get long tail keywords and everything else. And then before you know it, I have a $5 an hour employee that is just banging out emails, blog posts, and things like crazy at the rate that you would pay a company thousands of dollars to get one blog post a week. And I'll tell you what, ours will be better because I've trained AI to be a freaking gangster when it comes to these things. And I will just have more than anybody else. So there's that, like, when we had a full team of copywriters, we had a team of over 25 different VAs, full team of copywriters, video editors, graphic designers. John, I'm down to a team of 2 and I'm producing more. So like that right there is, what if you can scale your business and output without scaling your overhead?
That's the thing, right? Well, that's not even, let's be real clear right here. That's growth. That's not scale. Scale is where you can maintain the expense, but revenue goes, right? So that's when we're scaling, we're taking off. If it goes, that's just growth, right?
Yeah.
If revenue and expense. But what you're saying is I'm able to continue revenue, but I'm holding steady here. That's where we've reached scale. One thing that you said, Nick, man, this just hit. You look at any business and there's functions, right? You look at any business, there's 6 key functions of any business, but there's really 3 characters, right? You have the idea character, responsible for the ideas, head of company, visionary. Yeah. That's their responsibility to come up with the ideas, as part of the job requirement.
Yeah.
The second is the technician that executes those ideas. And then the third character is the manager that manages those ideas. In any endeavor, there's 3 hats.
Yeah.
Where people get stuck is that they wear all 3, and that's the solopreneur phase, right? They stay in solopreneur phase if they're wearing all 3 hats. You can really move, our agent to CEO concept is more of a mental grasp of, I'm an employee, I'm self-employed, solopreneur, and I've got to transition to the business owner, business mentality, business mindset. And just because you have a massive team or you do a lot of production doesn't mean you're a business owner. You can still be a solopreneur with a massive organization if you're wearing all 3 of those hats. You can wear 2, but you can't wear 3. So you got to shed that. So I see, okay, how can I, if I'm full of ideas, how can I utilize AI to help me manage my ideas? And then is there something with AI that can help me execute my ideas? So that's where one spark went. The other thing that you said, though, is you can have one human run an entire department off of ChatGPT. So let's go back to the functions of any organization, right? You have head of company, but then you have sales. You have head of sales, right? Head of sales responsibility is to turn the opportunities into cash. That's it. Just that simple. You have head of marketing. Usually head of company is also head of marketing, but you've also got somebody there that is helping execute on the marketing, and the marketing. You're responsible for the brand and the strategy and things like that. But when you said that, that's where my mind just went. I was like, one person could actually run the marketing ChatGPT department and execute and create the opportunities that kicks over to sales to turn into cash. And you could have one salesperson. If that's you, that's where utilizing the AI technology.
Yeah.
Operations, that's the other function. So within the real estate space, SOPs, checklists, things like that need to be created. We want consistency. If we've got to repeat it, we are able to create that. Transaction management, I know it's there. I know it's coming at a high level, coming fast.
Yeah.
That's even aligned to particular states and state guidelines. Like, listen, guys, if you don't believe that you can't get ChatGPT or an AI to do your transaction management for pennies, like, it's coming real fast.
I want to say something really quick on that subject, because I know you have a little bit more. Please do not upload personal client information into ChatGPT. It is a public server. Don't do it. Don't do it. There are private GPTs that exist, and there will be coming to the market, but just don't upload private information to Chat. I just wanted to say that very quickly.
Little disclosure right there.
A little disclaimer. Yeah.
And then you have the other main function, which is finance. Okay. So you can have it help build out spreadsheets. You can have it built out. Hey, what are my critical numbers? How do I track these critical numbers? Like, there's ways to go through there that your finance people, that the money side of things, that can help you forecast. And then the other one is the IT component, which is AI, which is automations, which is, it's never really been a full-time gig, but it is several hours a week that somebody needs to be overseeing that. So as you were talking through there, Nick, I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody listening. Is like, listen, guys, there's only 3 characters in any business, and there's only really 6 main functions of any business.
Yeah.
Start to think through, how do I utilize the intelligence and not throw people at the problem, but utilize systems, utilize processes, utilize the intelligence instead of throwing people at the situation. A lot of people are like, damn, what do I say about that? Especially as I'm hearing, there's a lot of people without jobs right now.
There
and,
are.
and it's getting more and more that way. So I know we're talking about being more efficient, less team members, less people. And that's where I'm at, right? Like, I know I'm one key hire away, and that's what I've told the team. I'm like, no more.
Yeah.
I said, it all has to be done with AI at that point.
You are, man, that was very well said. And I really like looking at this. And I think a thing like what a lot of people try and do with AI or anything that's new when they're trying something new is add more to their plates. Thinking that AI is going to like, oh crap, I have to bring AI in and that's more for you to learn, and trying something that you've never done before with AI. And I think that's very wrong. I always tell people first, when they start working with us, make a stop doing list.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make a stop doing list, because how many times how much free time do you guys have? I don't know many freaking real estate agents with free time.
No.
So if you start adding more to your plate, you're just not going to get it done. So first make a stop doing list. Then look at what you're already doing to make money with what you're doing. And then look, how can I use AI with what I'm already doing? It complements it. It doesn't just create a whole new position that AI is just going to go in and work. It is here to complement and to make more efficient what you're already doing. Yeah. So I think it's complementary, like you were saying, and it brings the amount of people you have to work down a lot smaller because they become more efficient. There's actually a study that showed that AI makes unskilled people 34% more skilled. There's a Stanford study that they were doing about the future of the workforce, and they were talking about other things as far as from 1940 to now. They're like 60% of jobs that exist today did not exist in 1940. Right. So all these innovations that were coming to take people's jobs, they didn't take them. They just replaced them with other ones. And you're going to see it here with AI as well, where you're going to take the jobs that people have and just make those individuals more skilled.
Yeah. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, right? It's just going to open up other opportunities. And, you just can't get fixated if things are on, about to be, the whole, industry shifted and things have changed. It's going to open up new opportunities that we don't even know exist that are going to be coming. So, no, I love that. Nick, take us home here with this final, big, and I think the reason that you even reached out in the first place that you were so excited about. So kind of take us home here with this kind of bringing it all together, that really being able to leverage AI in this way to help really improve, skill set and confidence moving into the future.
Yeah, no. So this is why I reached out to you, because I was sitting here and I thought what we figured out what we could do this is, I thought it was pretty big, right? And then I did a training on it with another individual who does a lot of role playing and different things. And I left that call thinking like, holy shit, every team in the country, every agent in the country who is a good agent, who actually wants to improve their skills, will be using this, or they should be using this, because role playing, we all know it's important.
Yeah.
We all know it's important. We all know we have to do it, but what's the hardest thing to do? Find a role play partner. Yeah. Doing it. You got to find a role play partner, find people who are doing it, sync schedules. They have to be a good role play partner. A lot of role play partners are scared to give you objections because they want to give you the easy route.
Yeah. Well, typically your role play partner is somebody that's just learning it just like you.
Exactly. So
here's what's good or not.
So with ChatGPT, you can literally do role playing now. And it's something called advanced voice. So they dropped something, Project Strawberry, where they dropped advanced voice and advanced reasoning. You have to have the upgraded version. So you have to pay $20 a month with ChatGPT to get access to this feature. But it is by far the best $20 a month you'll spend in your business.
Yes, it is.
So it's very simple. There's that little white dot. You don't even need to see much of my screen to see that little white dot. Here's how simple it is, family. You download the app to your phone. Yes, you have to do it from your phone. And just a quick note on that. It's ChatGPT. It's not ChatGBT. It's not Chat On. It's not Ask Chat, because there's 1,000 apps that look just like it. It's ChatGPT. And you click this button and you'll see it light up. Here we go. Hey, what's going on, Kelsey? I'm on here with John Kitchens and I want to impress him. Can you do that with me?
I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble responding right now.
Oh, I love. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi because sometimes that'll work. Let's try this again. Don't do it to me, Kelsey.
Sorry.
Oh, it's showing up white. It's giving me the old runaround when you want to show off something.
I know. Never fails.
Never fails. Here we go. Let me try Wi-Fi one more time. So essentially, here's what it can do. So ChatGPT, what they came out with on the update is now you can literally talk to ChatGPT back and forth when it's working and not turning white. I'll go airplane mode on and off. So what it does is you can literally speak to it back and forth. You can, if I can't get it to work, I'll tell you guys and I'll share with you guys some role play scenarios because you can role play with it as if it's an expired lead. So you can just say, hey, ChatGPT, let's role play. You act as an expired lead who's been on the market for 6 months. You're very frustrated. And what I want you to do is give me a lot of objections. I'm about to call you. All right. And then all you do is you go into there and then you start talking to it back and forth. For some reason right now, my ChatGPT says that it is not working. So customary to anytime you want to show something off with technology, I'll try it one more time.
Yeah, just talk through though. I mean, I think getting kind of the gist of it and really get into that conversation.
Hey, what's up, Kelsey? I want to show you off to John Kitchens here and show off what you can do. Does that sound good to you?
Absolutely. Let's make it impressive. What do you have in mind to showcase?
All right, here's what I want to do. Let's role play. You act as an expired lead. You've had your home on the market for 6 months without any offers, and now you're really, really frustrated. Make sure you hit me with a lot of objections when I call. Does that sound good?
Got it. I'll be an expired lead feeling pretty frustrated. I'll throw plenty of objections your way. Ready when you are.
Yeah, hi. I'm calling for the owner of 123 Main Street. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. But if you're another agent trying to list my house, I'm really not interested.
Hey, no, I completely understand. I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls. I mean, your home looks absolutely beautiful, though. I mean, just out of curiosity, why do you think it didn't sell?
Honestly, I have no idea. We had showings, but no offers. It's been a waste of time and money. I'm done with this process.
All right. Thank you for that example. So that's literally, you can talk to it back and forth. Tell it you want a role play partner. Tell it you're extremely frustrated and give me every objection here in the book.
And you can just keep rolling through it, right? Just keep going through, keep talking. No. And the thing, the first time that I had seen this, my mind immediately went, one, you can save what the investment in, especially for smaller teams or agents that are trying to grow, you can save the investment in kind of that sales manager, sales trainer type of role. But it's also the thing to where agents behind the scenes can log the role play time while they build their confidence.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing, right? Because it's the fear of rejection, getting in front of other people to do it. But if you could do it on your time, and then I think just logging the time with it. And I know tools are coming because I see some teams that are taking on some hefty investment to invest this type of sales management role play training scenario and implement it into their organization. So, I mean, I think because that's what they all struggle with, right? They're like, man, I need some leverage. I need somebody to train these people. I can't take my best salesperson because then that's going to impact their revenue. I can't afford to pay them what they're worth. So to me, like, this solves a lot of freaking problems,
bro. And you're absolutely right. And this is where training your ChatGPT can go a long way, because what you can do is, if you're a team, you can get a ChatGPT team account, how many users and people you have in your team. Then you can go in and you can say, save to memory. I'm going to upload all of our differentiating factors as a company. I'm going to upload scripts that we have. I'm going to upload calls, recordings, and things that we've had into this ChatGPT. So now it's trained with all this information, trained with rebuttals. And then you just tell people, it's like, hey, just go in there and be like, hey, act as my real estate coach. I'm going to give you 10, give me 10 objections. I'll give you the rebuttals and then coach me on what I can do differently.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, all right, great, John, I'll do exactly that.
Yeah.
And it is there 24/7 and
Yeah.
able to respond to you.
Yeah, it is. I think those that are really committed and obsessed with developing the craft and skill set, I mean, they're going to accelerate the process with this.
Absolutely. And this is where it's starting to teach me Spanish. So like, there's so many uses of this, because I'll be like, hey, I want you to act as my Spanish teacher this morning. Let's pick up where we left off. I'm a beginner. I want to get through how to introduce myself. And it will literally train me back and forth. I had somebody that just called me and said, yeah, my kid's doing timetables with advanced voice. So it's going through math and it's doing advanced timetables with them and generally getting harder and harder. So
I think this is kind of where my mind's going, right? With the working genius, when you understand, when you're kind of in the wonder or idea phase, like this, just my mind's going, right? Cause I'm a WD. So my mind's like thinking all the big things to be able to utilize this. And I think if you're an agent listening to this and you're struggling with it, find somebody that has a ton of ideas. Reach out to Nick, right? Reach out and really like, hey, man, I'm struggling with where to start with this, where, how to, the ideas to go with it. I hear what you're saying, man, like get me going down the path. Like, what do I need to do? And I think we gave him I think the mindset of, hey, this is a lifelong team member, employee, part of my team. I think it's kind of your go-to, all the different functions within your business and your life. Utilize it instead of search. Know the power and the importance of SEO driven content that helps solve the big ass problem of your ideal client, and just really, man, go to every day, man. It's almost like, it's really, it's Jarvis. It's becoming.
It is. You're absolutely right. Exactly, it is Jarvis. You're like, that's the way that, again, it's your employee. It works 24/7. You can talk to it back and forth. It remembers things. You can train it once and never have to retrain it again. And now there's even science that's out there that is starting to turn AI neurotransmitters to make this thing be able to smell, among all other things. So there's I know that's kind of wild.
Wow.
But I'll also do this. I have like 13 different role play scenarios that I like drafted up, including like buyers, commissions, and things along those lines. And all you got to do is go to advanced voice, say the role play scenario that we drafted up, and you can start role playing back and forth. I'll include that in the chat underneath that. It's literally sellers lead in competitive market, buyers uncertain about market stability, buyers confused about agent representation, luxury lead, first-time home buyers, expired listing lead. We have all these different role play scenarios where you literally just open your phone, say the scenario, and you're training. You're
there. I love it, brother, man. Yeah. As always, what this whole expert mentor series has been about, 275 deep and counting, and just really what you embody, right? Coming in and being an expert, wanting to just add value and give back. And like I said, that's what this whole series has been all about. And appreciate you as always jumping in here. Nick, if they're hearing this, they can't find kind of what offering up to, what's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah. Best way to connect with me would just be go to my Facebook, Nick Krem. Very simple to find. Go to my Facebook, message me. You'll see all the different offerings and things that we do. Plus we're constantly dropping free trainings on there as well.
I love it. All right, guys, give Nick some love, connect, take this serious, because I think this will just not only, it'll just collapse time. That's the biggest thing, right? It'll just collapse time for everybody. So brother, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
See you.